What's going on? Let's talk about Aer's brand new Slim Pack. This is the second version. I've been using it for the past couple of weeks and it's been refreshingly delightful in terms of just being able to tap into my minimal self. As per usual, I'll highlight my favorite things about it, get into some of the nitpicks, talk about why I find it's better than the original version in pretty much every single way. And then lastly, I'll talk about what specific subsegment of human being this niche bag is designed for, as I'm sure it's going to have much less of a broad appeal as their City Pack Pro 2 or even their City Pack 2 or some of the more popular bags. But I, for one, have definitely enjoyed it. So let's get into it. Now, really quick before I get into the bag, and this is unrelated, so feel free to skip to here to get into the bag itself. But first of all, just wanted to say thank you. Like on my last video, I hit 2,000 subscribers, which is absolutely wild to me. I started this channel 11 months ago. It'll be a year in October. And it's not even so much like the quantity of people, but just like the quality of engagement, the fact that there's like people out there in this universe that are tuning in and like watching videos of me talking about something as ridiculous as like backpacks or pouches, something that I don't get to share with anyone in my life. I do to some extent with my wife and friends, but I think more than anything, they connect with the appreciation and passion that I have for it. But from a spectator standpoint, it's not something I can like talk about and geek out with. And lastly, thank you to the brands that have reached out to me, because in the broader spectrum, like this is very much a micro YouTube channel. Brands that have watched my content have appreciated it enough so that they're curious in getting my opinion for the products that they're launching, like this one, something I absolutely appreciate. So thank you. And then the second quick announcement is just in bittersweet news like this that you're seeing. This is probably going to be the last video that I am filming here. We're moving to a new home. We've been here for 6 years. We moved here without kids, and now we've got 2 kids, and we're constantly hosting in-laws. So I've definitely outgrown the space. We're very much excited for that. And one of the things that I'm definitely looking forward to is the fact that right here where I am filming, this is our dining room. This is our dining room table. I do like 2, maybe 3 videos a month. And every time I film a video, I've got to like move furniture, like the kids can't be around, setting up like the softbox, the tripod. It's like a whole thing, assembling, disassembling. So yeah, stay tuned. In the new home, there's a little like Batcave concrete dungeon where I'm gonna have a little piece of dedicated space where I'll be able to have like a proper studio, which will hopefully facilitate more videos. But yeah, with that being said, let's get into the Slim Pack 2, which is why you're here. I'll shut up now. My favorite things about it, especially in contrast with the first version, are the sleek, minimal look. The comfort has gotten a lot better. And then lastly, the organization. There was a very thoughtful execution in an organizational layout that packs so much, given the fact that it's only 9 liters of usable space. So starting off with a look, and this is a new design language within Aer. It's a subtle change, but it's very much being reflected by the new gens of their bags, like the City Pack Pro 2, the City Pack 2. They're going from very square, boxy, to a little bit more of a tapered, roundish look, which I think also is going to have a broader appeal in terms of men and women, because Aer bags have always been very masculine, and although I still think that they lean a little bit more masculine, it has, I think, a more organic shape, at least for me. And a lot of the look just roots from the fact that it is so slim, right? I think if you see someone wearing this bag, you're like, that is a person that knows exactly what they want in life, what they absolutely need, and filtering out all the BS. Second thing I really like about this bag is the comfort. I mean, Aer, you could say that about all of their products, but with a Slim Pack 2 specifically, in the first version of it, there is actually no mesh material. And the material itself that they're using in the face shell of the bag is the same thing that's rubbing up against your back, so you don't get the breathability component, especially if you're in a place where it's hot, you sweat a lot. Having this perforated air mesh helps with that a ton. Also, in terms of comfort, the first version was 1.9 pounds, like it's under 2 pounds. That's already super light. While yes, one can absolutely argue that for an 8.5 liter bag, 1.9 pounds is heavy proportionate to the amount of space that you get. With this one, it's now even lighter. It's 1.6 pounds. That's in the Cordura version. In the X Pack, I'm not sure how much it weighs. My wife is actually traveling right now and she took the little scale that I have for it. And then this one's 9 liters instead of 8.5. So you gain a little bit of space and you shave a little bit of weight. I'll get into like specific use cases and who will benefit the most from this bag in a bit. But one of the use cases that I think this bag is great for is a day pack while you're traveling. Especially if you're someone that, you know, can work remotely, where tech is a big part of what you carry. Because if it isn't, then I think there's a lot of other better bags out there for that. But I know most people, they like to just have a very packable, compressible day bag that they can just stuff in their suitcase when they get to the destination and use that. And it weighs literally nothing. But I'm like a backpack lover. Like when I'm traveling, like, yeah, those are great because they're practical and they don't weigh anything, but they have literally no structure. They have little to no organization whatsoever. For me, I'd rather something a little bit more structured that has a dedicated place for all of my essentials and makes up for the weight by just having just really good comfort, right? Mesh padding here, straps. I mean, Aer is one of the most universally beloved brands when it comes to comfort. Like it's rare that people complain about the comfort on an Aer bag. And then the last thing that I really like in this bag is the organization. While the layout is pretty similar to the original version, the materials that they're using are all consistent with like their new generation of products. And most of that is the stretch mesh fabric that they're now using, which I'm a really big fan of. But specifically when it comes to organization, it's very simple, right? You get a quick access pocket here in the front, and this is where I throw AirPods and sunglasses. Like those are the two things that I'm accessing the most in my bag, and it's a comfortable amount of space for those two things. And then in the bag itself, this like reverse rear admin panel, I guess you can call it, very similar to what they have in the City Pack 2, which is my favorite Aer backpack, not the Pro version. And one thing that they did specifically with this one is the sleeve that they also include in the City Pack 2 is actually very spacious. So it's actually like a more comfortable space for your bigger things compared to like the main compartment, because I mean, granted, this is a 9 liter bag, but once you start packing it out, there's very little space here in the middle. This is really a bag that's designed for tech essential carry with maybe a very, very light jacket. But this pocket in particular, what I love about it is you can do a number of things with it, right? Like if you have over-the-ear headphones, I love having a segmented space for over-the-ear headphones. And in a bag this small, the fact that I can put the headphones there without like having to stuff them and dig deep down into the main compartment to snag them, that's really great. Now, this is a bag that I would say for most people that like to carry a water bottle with them. Obviously, you don't get water bottle holders, but if you don't carry over-the-ear headphones, this front sleeve, you can actually use it for a water bottle. The only thing is that that water bottle then kind of gets in the way of these stretch mesh pockets. And then also this zippered pocket here, it just makes all of that less usable. So I really wouldn't use this with a water bottle. You can put it here, but then it just gets in the way of the limited amount of organization that you get. Since I've been moving for the past week, I've been literally just stuffing my tech pouch in here. Of course, you gotta throw the Aer Slim pouch to go with the Slim Pack. Literally just tech pouch, laptop, that's it, leave the house. Got my tech that I need when I'm spending hours at the other house, just in case. And that's it. So it's a great place for a tech pouch. And then if you don't carry a tech pouch, because you really don't need to, you have a sufficient amount of organization for your minimal amount of things. And then lastly, just so you can see like what other stuff it fits, like you can absolutely put a tablet here, even though I feel like this is probably a better place for a tablet just because it's more snug in there. But if you're the kind of person that travels with 2 laptops, I mean, I probably would not use this for 2 laptops just because, I don't know, it's already pretty small, but you can fit up to a 16-inch laptop. This is a 15-inch MacBook Air. You could actually fit across from it that 13-inch MacBook or here in this front pocket. Now for my nitpicks, the 3 main ones are the fact that they're still using their older original generation zipper pulls. Secondly, which is understandable for a bag this size, but just the fact that it doesn't stand on its own. And then the fact that the sternum strap, I believe, is not removable. Like, you can remove it, but then I think you're committed to just not having sternum straps. I'll explain why now. So first of all, with the zipper pulls, you know I'm a freak when it comes to zippers. I was surprised that they stuck with their original zipper pulls. One of my favorite things about Aer's new generation of products, like when they came out with their City Pack Pro 2, the City Pack 2, the City Sling 3, their slim pouch, is that they shifted over to Hypalon zipper pulls. And I genuinely thought that the Slim Pack 2 and pretty much all of their products moving forward would come in the Hypalon zipper pulls. There's a few things I'm not a huge fan of with these zipper pulls. First of all, even though they look and feel premium, there's just a lot of like jangle action. With this bag, it's not a huge deal because these are the only like zippers beyond this one. So they don't get in the way of other zippers, but they still kind of get in the way of one another. But my main issue with them is that they don't produce as smooth and satisfying of a zipping experience for 2 main reasons. One, the closer the actual zipper pull is to the zipper head, the more leverage that you get, right? So when you're holding it here, you just like have to do a little bit more MacGyverage to make sure it goes around. And then secondly, this is like a matte, smooth plastic that while it might feel good, it doesn't have like great grip. So like sometimes, like, you know, I don't have like greasy fingers, but you just, yeah. So knowing myself, I'll definitely like swap out the zipper pulls. But with these Hypalon ones, wow, it's standing. A, they're grippy, right? So you don't have to worry about your fingers slipping off. Secondly, it's a much quieter material, so it's not like as like, you know, rattly. And then lastly, because the pull is directly connected to the zipper head, it's like just really really smooth when it comes to zipping and unzipping, both in their non-PU coated and their PU coated zippers. So yeah, because of the zipper pulls, and also the fact that the zipper heads themselves are pretty small, paired with the fact that you've got on the X-Pack version PU coated zippers, which give you a little bit more resistance. Yeah, I'd say like an 8.1, 8.2 from a Pilgrim churned butter zipper smoothness rating. I'm sure if I swap out the zipper pulls, that'll help. But the size of the zipper heads, I get that this is a smaller bag, but I still think that bigger zipper heads would have probably been better. Second thing that is really kind of like an unfair nitpick, because really I don't think any bag this size stands on its own, part of it being so slim. And it does like actually stand on its own, right? Like, but when I say a bag is self-standing, it means that like 8, 9 out of 10 times that you plop it, you don't have to think about how you plop it. It's gonna stand on its own, and this bag definitely doesn't do that when I'm traveling, right? Like another reason why I like having a bag that has a little bit more structure rather than having a super packable, ultra lightweight backpack is because I really value having the ability for a bag to stand on its own. And with this, like as a day pack, like you definitely get it way more than a floppy day pack. But yeah, it's just one of those things that all of the airbags that I've owned have been great at self-standing, and this is just one that is a byproduct of the slimness of the design, which is really what it's geared around. So you can't have both. And then the last little nitpick is, as much of a fan as I am of sternum straps, with a 9-liter bag, like, it's kind of overkill. It's something that I would still, like, if I was like walking around all day, I would like to have it and still use it, but in day-to-day, it just creates a little bit of clutter. And sometimes, you know, like, say you put the bag down and then you go to grab it, sometimes because it's magnetic, it will like magnetize, and then you go to put it on and then you're like, and then you got to remove it. Now, there are some sternum straps that are easily removable. With these, this is clipped incredibly tight to the piping. And while I love the fact that it's incredibly easy to adjust up or down, it's one of those things that I'm curious, like, throw in the comments, because I've had other bags like this and I've just never dared to remove it feels like so hard to do if you wanted to, that I'd be worried that if I wanted to put it back in, it would be like virtually impossible to. So I am considering just removing them altogether and risking it, but I still like haven't quite made the psychological commitment to doing it. But please tell me if I can, and that I'll be able to put it back in without having to exert a crazy amount of like finger force. Anyways, that's mainly it. I'll walk you through it and then I'll share my final thoughts on who this bag is ultimately for. This is in the X-Pack variant, and it's also coming in their 1680D ballistic nylon, and it has like the 840D PU coated nylon shell. Transparently, I opted for the X-Pack as part of a final experiment, which I'll talk about now, but I really do like the contrast of the ballistic nylon with the PU coated face. That's one big reason for why I'd opt for that one between this and the X-Pack. And then secondly, I've been kind of like wavering, like the X-Pack orange on the Aer, like, it's cool for sure. And it's different from what you get in a lot of bags, but yeah, I finally came to the definitive realization that for a backpack where you get a lot of this, it's just too bright for me personally. I'm someone that gets very overstimulated easily, visually and audio-wise. Color is very much a personal preference thing, and I think it's fun for a bag like this where I would not use it all the time because it's a very specific bag. But if I was looking at this for my everyday carry bag that I'm going to use all the time for everything, then yeah, the orange would not be my first choice. And then from the outside, like, super simple, like, you get that X-Pack fabric pretty much everywhere with the exception of the mesh. And then you get the 3 grab handles. The original one had 2. Originally, when I first saw it, I was like, that's probably going to be a nitpick for me, just because it's already excessive to having 3 on the City Pack Pro 2, as well as on the City Pack 2. But then on something so small, like, you really don't need grab handles whatsoever. But I actually don't mind them as much with this one because they're like sewn so tightly and flush against the bag that it's really just like a trim accent piece that gives it a little bit of personality. Otherwise, it would be more bland design-wise. And also because you don't get like external water bottle holders and very limited, like, this is the only external quick access that you have, I could see the value in being able to hook things on the outside to these things versus other bags where you don't need to as much just because you get more pockets. So actually, it's not the end of the world for me. And then here on the back, one big improvement that I already talked about in the comfort section is the fact that you actually get like mesh ventilated padding, whereas before your back was touching the shell fabric and there was no breathability. You get the luggage pass-through as well that they're incorporating in all their bags, and you get like a little bit of Velcro here to keep it flush. The only thing is just like, be careful with the Velcro, just because like if it touches the mesh, it can cause pilling. So just, yeah, make sure it doesn't do that. One worthwhile call out, I did notice that on the City Pack Pro 2 and the City Pack 2, when you're wearing it without a laptop, where it's like not a lot of stuff in there, it has this kind of like caved effect, right? And I think a lot of it is just to like curve and conform to the shape of your back. But when you don't have a flat object, that caving effect translates to just having less back surface contact with your backpack. I didn't notice that with this bag, which is great. So if you are using it potentially as like a day bag while you're traveling and you don't have a laptop in there and you want to make sure it's still comfortable, it was definitely not like as pronounced. I do have a pretty arched back, so it doesn't impact me negatively on the other two bags as well, but I can definitely see how someone with a more normal shaped bag, that would be a concern. Not a concern with this one. And then you've got quick access pocket here. I could fit almost my whole hand in here. It's a really good depth. Honestly, it's like deep enough that you could fit a good amount of stuff in here, but it's not so deep that you have to like really like dig to find your things. It really is a good quick access pocket. And I like that they use like their YKK locking short zipper, because with these longer zipper pulls, like unless they're like, yeah, I mean, they're still kind of can get in the way. But if this one was long as well, it would be a little bit more cumbersome. And then going into the main compartment, you have on this side where I talk about it more in detail in the organization section, but you have this really spacious sleeve. This is like more spacious than really getting to the bottom of the main compartment. So for your bulkier things or a tech pouch, it's a really good place to have them where it's still like segmented away from everything else. Then you get a zippered compartment here. This is a great spot for you to throw in your passports. This is where you have your key leash. It's both nice in the sense that they're extra secure. If you're constantly accessing your keys, it's just opening the main compartment and then another zipper, unless you have it just like out and then just the zipper doesn't close all the way, which I would go a little crazy with, but you can also do that. And then you have 3 different sizes, which I really appreciate. For stretch mesh pockets, you have one for a pen. This is one where I throw in a mobile battery bank. And then you have an additional one here where you can, you know, like I have Logitech MX3 mouse. I don't fit it in my tech pouch because it's too bulky for it, but it fits like really nicely in there. So, I mean, this is really a bag that was thoughtfully designed with tech organization at the forefront. And then the laptop compartment, really well padded, nice false bottom, and it fits up to a 16-inch laptop. And then just so you can see, this is an iPad Air, fits great in there. You can also fit another laptop, like a 13-inch MacBook, fits in there as well. Now, I've been mainly just using it like with the tech pouch, the Aer Slim pouch. And as you can see, like once you put that in there, it really eats into the main compartment space. There's very little space there. So when I have like the stuff that I'm actually like using, right? A jacket, it fits, but it's just like, it really, at that point, if you want to carry a jacket, I personally would not carry a tech pouch. I'd just put my tech essentials like charging cube, cables, mobile battery bank. That's like really the main things beyond like AirPods and sunglasses when I'm in just like minimal mode. And there you could fit a jacket a little bit more comfortably, for sure. So anyways, final thoughts. Who is this bag for? I think there's 3 specific scenarios where this bag makes a lot of sense. Given the sheer volume of this bag, this is obviously designed for someone that is minimal in what they carry, and they're looking for something where they can carry their tech in an organized way. But within that persona, I think there's 3 very specific scenarios in which this bag particularly thrives in. One is if you're the kind of person that you drive to work every day and you really just need something that's going to sit next to you in the car. It's got your laptop and your tech essentials. And if you do carry a water bottle, you don't mind just going from the parking lot to your office, carrying your water bottle and your jacket when it's colder out. Secondly is someone that is minimal with what they carry and they do commute, but they live in a place where it's like warm pretty much year round. So you're not going to a gym or anything afterwards where you need extra space, and you don't need extra space for a jacket or something like that. I mean, technically you can fit a jacket, but it has to be like a pretty light jacket. Otherwise, yeah, getting in and out of the bag is a little bit cumbersome. And then the last scenario where I think it does well is if you're going to use it as a day pack at your destination and you're, again, pretty minimal with what you're carrying. Oftentimes when I'm like walking around a city, I feel like anything beyond this is kind of overkill. For me, not so much anymore because I've got kids. So like this is a great bag if you're traveling solo or with your significant other and nothing else. But also if you're traveling for work and say you're doing like a day trip or an overnighter, you have like a small carry-on and then this with just your tech stuff that you like take with you to your meeting or whatever. I think it also works really well. But yeah, all in all, I've thoroughly enjoyed the bag. It's been warm out. I haven't needed the extra space for any sort of clothing, and just to like throw my laptop and a few other essentials in here, this has really been a treat to use in that sense. And if you're looking at this one, or I'm sure they're going to now discount the original version, to me, like it's a no-brainer. It's even lighter. You get a little bit more space. You finally get like mesh breathable material here, which is going to help the comfort factor. And then lastly, you get their amazing new stretch mesh in the main compartment, which you get a different kind of like elastic that doesn't feel as premium or as good to the touch as the new version. But other than that, best of luck and cheers.